What's going on YouTube? This is Metal Complex. If you are new to this channel, feel free to subscribe. This is a brand new YouTube channel. Just general knife talk, general entertainment, kind of a laid back overview slash review slash personal thoughts channel where we just kind of go over knives. We kind of kick back and talk about them a little bit. Lots of cool stuff that's been shown, lots of cool stuff that's going to be shown, and I plan on uploading regular content. So if you're a fan of all that, definitely subscribe and stick around for more. Today I want to talk about the famous ZT0303, and there are some people that are going to be looking at this and probably pretty excited about it given the size, and there are a lot of people that are going to look at this and they're going to immediately roll their eyes and go on to the next video, and that's totally fine. Let me let's get the elephant in the room literally out of the way real quick. This is a huge knife. This is huge. Coming from somebody, and I've mentioned this before, I'm a Medford fan. I'm a huge overbuilt knife fan, not in terms of practicality or anything like that, just because they're cool, especially the ones that are built really well. So yeah, this is a gigantic assisted opening frame lock folder, and you could see the recoil on that. Let me do that again for you here real quick. This thing kicks, and it's the weight of the blade and the massive torsion bar they put in this thing that's responsible for that. Real quick, this is honestly, I mean, this has been known for a while, surprisingly a Ken Onion designed knife, and truthfully I believe the originals, and this is the newer model, the originals were I think Mick Strider had a hand in it, and if you were to ask a knife guy, this looks way more Strider than it does Ken Onion. And I know Ken Onion has had his hand in some bigger, more heavy-duty folding knives, and I'm not a pro on Ken Onion, but that's always, I always see that and I'm like, oh yeah, Ken Onion had a hand in that. But anyways, 8.6 inches overall. I don't know the exact weight of this thing, but it feels about, well, it feels heavier than the XM18. And you can see that this is a 3.5 model. So the 0303 is gigantic, both in length and height, or I guess height of the blade. But same idea, you know, it's got those thumb studs slash lugs that sort of are housed there in the scales. And the blade's really cool on this one. You know, they've been released with different blades and different finishes, or not different blade styles, sorry. It's always been this recurve sort of kind of drop point. I don't know what you'd call that really, but this is a tungsten DLC coating, and I don't know anything about tungsten. Greg uses this. Sorry, this isn't my knife. This belongs to a gentleman named Greg. Story behind it, quick story. He carried a small CRKT assisted opening knife forever, and I kind of did the same thing that I do with everybody else. I talk with them about knives. I show them some stuff that's a little bit better made, and if they're interested, they eventually, in my experience, go for one. Greg wanted an assisted opening knife that was larger and had a wider blade, and this wasn't available at the time. I think it was the 0350 that I had suggested to him, which is a much shorter version. I want to say it comes to about here overall in length, and this became available. Again, to my surprise, they decided to remake it without the stabilizer, or the lock bar stabilizer being here. They've put it here in combination with this steel lock bar insert. But this became available, and I said, hey, Greg, those are available, so if you want one, you should get one, and he immediately bought it, and I know he has a lot of fun with it. For me, this is too big. This is super cool, and I love these. I love how they feel in hand. I love how they look. They are definitely overbuilt, over the top, and certainly a capable folding knife, definitely. But me personally, I don't know that I could carry this every single day and this be my only EDC option, and you know, it's just huge. It's crazy. It's like the Tyrannosaurus Rex of folding knives. But it's awesome. I mean, the appeal to these certainly is the look and the overbuilt tough factor. This is old school ZT for sure. You know, the pivot here, the hex head pivot, which actually it's kind of covered up by the pocket clip. You can't see it because Greg's got it set up for a tip down carry, which is how they come. But just like maxed out overbuilt. It has kind of this, reminds me of an alligator scale texturing pattern on the G10 side, and it also carries over to the titanium, which is pretty cool. You don't see that very often. If you look at the thickness here, it's pretty thick. I want to say it's 0.16 thick, which is about the same as the XM18 there in the back. You'll notice there on the left side, the G10 in combination with the steel liner is actually thicker than the titanium on the right side. But I mean, it's still substantially thick titanium, and certainly can withstand abuse. I haven't personally used these. These do come centered, so I can get that. Not very good lighting here. Kind of throws it off with one side being thicker than the other, but it is definitely centered, and it's solid. I don't know how many times you've flipped this out, Greg, but I can tell you've been using it because there's pocket clip wear, there's edge wear, things like that, but it's solid. Hard to do that with one hand being held on the camera here, but definitely a solid knife. Definitely one that you could use harder than your everyday, you know, $50 Walmart knife or $30 Walmart knife, and I think certainly tougher than a lot of knives that run the same price. This is about 270 bucks where you can find it right now. I think I've checked some retailers. I was curious before I did this video. There are offers to pre-order it right now, so they must be doing another run of it, which is great because there are a lot of, this knife is proof, and there are, you know, like I said, there's a lot of people who roll their eyes at this and say that is completely unnecessary. It's way too big. It's way too over the top. There's no reason anybody would need that. There's no way that it can cut very well because of how thick it is and the edge geometry and blah, blah, blah. I'm not a professional on that, but this knife is proof that there are people out there who are willing to spend a larger amount of money, who have a taste and appreciation for some of the not the nicest knives out there, but nicer knives that are overbuilt and over the top, and don't really care, you know, about the technicalities or the little things that go behind more expensive knives being perfect cutting tools. This does everything that Greg wants it to do, and he just enjoys it. You know, there is a massive sense of satisfaction that comes with flipping this thing open. It's awesome. The feeling is awesome. In hand, I mean, these things they're solid. It feels great. And I don't have the biggest hands in the world, but I do have larger hands, and I enjoy a larger knife. You know, they feel good. These are fun. I imagine they're just as fun to use as they are to handle and flip out. If you're considering this, I mean, you know, Greg carries it to work, but it's not a great knife for carrying around in the office because it'll just scare everybody. I mean, you can't whip this thing out and expect for people to not be a little bit shocked by the appearance and the sound that it makes and everything like that. So, but if you're considering it, you're a fan of overbuilt knives, and you haven't handled one of these, and you have an opportunity to get one, they're 270 bucks. So if you're used to spending that on folding knives and you like this, then yeah, go for it. These are super cool, and they do hold up well. He's been flipping his like crazy, and these new ones, you can see the engagement there, even on the actual steel lock bar insert. It's only engaging that insert at like 30%, which is great. It means it's going to last a long time, but it is solid. I mean, there's no worry whatsoever that it's going to close on your finger or anything like that, at least not Greg's. It's nice that they have added the steel lock bar insert to this one. The previous models did not have that. I imagine it was just a carbidized titanium lock face, and then they had this hinder or lock bar stabilizer right here, which I do miss. I understand why they do it this way, where they make the chip cut out bigger than the frame so it catches and you can't overextend it. But I miss this because that was modular, and you could replace it with those 45 caliber shell caps and you know, different anodized titanium lock bar stabilizers and stuff like that. It was kind of neat to be able to do that. But yeah, whatever. It's just set up so you can put the pocket clip wherever you want. right hand, left hand, tip up or tip down, which is cool. It does have those long screws that I like. Some people don't like that they screw all the way into the titanium because of the nature of titanium interacting with steel, but I like that. I would rather it be one long screw all the way to the other side than 6 screws that go kind of halfway into this. Does have a backspacer. I mean, it's halfway, so it's still semi-open body. It's still pretty easy to clean out. This steel is S30V. Right there you can see Ken Onion Design S30V. Made in the United States by Zero Tolerance. All good stuff, definitely. You see S30V and S35VN on pretty much everything, but they are premium steels. They do hold up well. I think S30V in this thickness is certainly an appropriate choice for this knife. But yeah, with the size of those thumb studs, the way that they house into the scales there, and the thick titanium lock bar, no worries on that. You know, don't abuse it, don't use it for anything dumb, and it's definitely going to last you a long time. But these are really cool, and you're not going to see assisted opening knives out there that are built to this quality, that are this big either. So cool factor off the charts right there. I'm not generally a fan of DLC coatings, but this is cool, and a lot of times, you know, it's cheesy. If it's just painted on there, then it's cheesy. But if it serves a purpose, like in this case, you know, you can see where Greg's been using it, and it hasn't worn off at all. I know he uses this on cardboard on a regular basis, and probably, you know, more than that. He's not afraid to use it at all, and it's held up really, really well. So that's awesome. I think these are super cool. But I had to do this. I can't get over this. It's such a monster of a knife, and it's so aggressive looking, and it's cool. This is one of those knives where you can pull this out in front of a non-knife guy or a knife guy, and whether they love it or they hate it, they're gonna ask to handle it. They're going to. Not many people are gonna look at this and go, yeah, neat, and that's it. They're gonna ask to hold it. And almost every single time, no matter what, the consistent reaction is, oh my God, wow. You know, whether in a negative way or a positive way, it's certainly a conversation piece at the least. The jimping's all in the right place. I like this. I like that there's this notch cut out right here. I keep wanting to put my finger right there because of the choil on the hinderer, but don't do that because you'll cut yourself. But there is that notch right there. Ridiculously thick tip there. Always feel funny saying that, but yeah, super strong tip. No worries there. Built well, super cool, old school ZT, really fun. I don't know how often you're going to have a hex head available to tighten or loosen your pivot, but this one hasn't seemed to come loose yet. So certainly fortified in that nature. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you're new to the channel, this is the kind of stuff that I do. We just kind of sit here and talk, just give people something to watch whenever. But I've got a lot of stuff planned. I've got something ordered that's coming in that is not a knife, but it is definitely everyday carry related, and I'm excited to show that, so stick around. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, leave a comment if you want. If you love it, you hate it, whatever. You don't have to be nice if you don't want to. I'm open to everybody's opinion, and I enjoy talking with people in the comments section, so please do that. But yeah, check out my other stuff, and subscribe if you want to see more, because there's a lot more coming. Have a great day, guys.